All right, I'll share the screen. So last time, I think we finished here about the goodness of all the gifts of divinity, of the Godhead. For some reason I can't take this away. All right, so I think we're continuing here, sentence number 2. That I did, well, go ahead, please.
Ta de diakekrimena to patros hyperousion onoma ke rima ke iu ke pneumatos udemias entuftis antistrophis iolos kinotitos episagomenis. So those things that have been differentiated of the Father and the Son, of the Spirit, of the Father, Son, and the Spirit are supersubstantial
But
name
so you said the things, but there's onoma kehrima. So what do you make of this? If I'm my apologies if I missed what you said. Sometimes I do
Sorry,
miss.
yeah, no problem. So the things said to be differentiated, or the things diakekrimena, with respect.
Well, you say, okay, okay, now I follow you, okay.
Yeah, in respect of the Father, the Son, and the Spirit are the names, or the name rather, and the being, the thing.
Yeah, right. That's I missed. Yeah, the reality. You might say the reality. Yeah.
Yeah. And in these, there is in no sense change, antistrophis, I would say change. I'm not sure if it might be a technical.
Yes, and it's interchange. So it's antistrophy. So so in other way, so how would you, by given the context, what would
So
you
the
make of?
name that is proper to the Father cannot be exchanged with the Son or the Spirit.
Yes, that's why he said both the reality, chrima, or the thing. Well, the thing doesn't quite fit the context. The reality and the name. So, in other words, the names of these realities cannot be interchanged between these realities, so to speak. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that's different. I thought it was that they just can't be changed, period. But the sense is they can't be exchanged one with another.
Yes, mutually
Okay.
exchanged. And yes, it's a technical term, so it's means reversal. Yes, so something. Uh, Sometimes it means that there's a subject and predicate, and can they be reversed? Yes, the dog is black. Can you say that the blackness is doggish?
Maybe in some kinds of modernist poetry. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so and in these regards, they can in no sense be exchanged um, or or can a complete um, or can be brought in a complete commonality. I really don't know how to translate this because I don't know why. Uh, yeah, I'm a little bit lost with that.
Well, what do you think of these genitive cases, antistrophes in genitive, kinotitus in genitive, episagomenis in genitive? Why is it
Yeah,
genitive?
that's my question. Why is it in genitive? And then
Well,
in
there is one very popular answer, which I'm sure you know, right?
is that genitive absolute?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Sometimes it's overused. We once overused it, and right. But in this case, it's exactly right. So this nouns in the genitive, antistrophe and kenotis, are so they're the subjects, right, of this clause. The so to speak, the actors, they would be actors if it were active participle episagomenis, but it's in fact it's middle passive. But uh, how do you take it? Do you take it as uh, passive or active? You see, middle can be. Uh,
Yeah, I think it should be passive in the sense cannot be brought in, must not be brought in.
yeah, there's no imperative here, uh, although it could be, but it's not just not there, so it's not being introduced. English also has absolute construction, so right, so uh, interchange or in general kenotis, right? Community, communality, sharing in common, something like that. I'm looking into Lampe now.
Mm.
Mm, uh, so, in other words, the implication is that antistrophe is a particular case of this kenotis. Uh, so antistrophe
Yeah.
is interesting. I'm seeing in Lampe, it's inversion, reciprocality, something like that. Yes. So it's a kind of communality. So neither this nor any communality not uh, being introduced. See, that's I think. Can you say it? Can one say this in English? That's in this absolute
Yeah,
construction.
like without any exchange or commonality whatsoever being introduced.
Yes, yes. So let's recall why is this death? So man death. So man was about what?
Tainomena, right? Up at the top, is that what you're referring to?
Yes. So
Hmm.
he on the one hand, there are united uh, names of uh, mm, or united characteristics. They are united in this manner, unified, one might say, uh, as regards apparently the persons of the Trinity. And now it says, on the other hand, there are those which in no way are united, they're distinguished. Uh,
Hmm.
the proper names of the Father and the Son and the Spirit, for instance. She doesn't give any other examples so far. Yeah, okay. So far he said something very orthodox. Oh, we didn't finish this. Okay. Let's say esti the.
Este de autis prostufto diakakrimenon ikatimasi Jesu pantelis ke analiotos iparxis ke osatis katautin esti philanthropias usiode mysteria.
By the way, I like your. I'm actually very pleased that you take this real how real Greeks speak. But this you pronounce this diphthong tu as tu, which is not actually how they speak
Oh
it.
no,
And
please tell me, because I
uh,
learned from, yeah, just a kind of informal reading group, the kind of basic rules of modern pronunciation, but I'm certainly missing something.
yeah, the only thing you're doing great. The only thing with this particular Omicron epsilon or upsilon, it's pronounced as u.
Okay.
No v, but av and ev, yes. Those are you have v, aftin,
Tutto.
yeah. But this is u, just u. Yeah.
Okay. Um, but again, in this is diakakrimenon.
No, prostuto. Uh, so aphthis is in turn, and prostuto. You said in this, but it's pros is not in. It's in addition to this.
Ah, okay.
And esti, I probably missed, but notice the accent. So it's existential esti, right?
What is that?
That means it exists. It's not
Ah,
copular.
okay.
There is basically.
Okay. So there is, in addition to this, uh, to be distinguished, hikatimas, the all that which is according to us of Jesus, and
Well, take this as a integral construction. E as article, it's with hyparxis, and all is in between is attributive, kind of qualifying this
okay.
hyparxis.
So these, how do we say hyparxis is
Existence.
existence? Okay. Um, the existence, analiotos is unchangeable or unchanging,
Yes, unchanged, roughly speaking.
unchanged.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, kat, but katimas, what is that? Does that
Well,
mean
according to us.
according to us, like in our opinion, in our
No. No. In
in
this
our
case,
recounting?
yes, but it could be, but in this context is correspond kind of according with us. So basically, uh, since he's talking of Jesus, think that what is kathimas, what accords with us in Jesus.
Okay. Ah, okay. All right. So the um, pantelis, the complete and unchanging existence of Jesus in what pertains to us.
Yes.
Okay,
And
and
and and note that diakekrimenon is predicative to it. So it's not within this construction. So
no.
right. So it's mm, well, it's a nuance, but let's later think how to translate it accordingly, because I think you translate it as far as I heard, as an attribute of this. No.
Yeah, and I don't think so. I think it's well, anyway, it's saying that these two things are also to be distinguished, right? Like the hyparxis and the hossa mysteria.
Oh, right. But Hossa is a relative clause. Well, not quite relative clause, but let's put it aside for a moment. But so there is, in addition to this, uh, the existence of Jesus, which is distinguished. I mean, it seems difficult to translate it with adjectival. Uh, it's passive participle, but it's adjectival. Uh, no, well, adjective basically, which is in the predicative position. To translate it into English otherwise than as relative clause. So in addition, there is the existence of Jesus, which is this distinguished from, I think, just distinguished. It's characteristic which cannot be applied to other persons of the
Sure,
Trinity.
sure.
For what reason?
Well, it's obvious. It's obvious. Only Jesus has a human nature. So
Right. Or
yeah.
yes, that's only Jesus has kathimas
Yes.
hyparxis. Okay. And then the rest of it.
And what's usiode? Substantial, essential.
Yeah, substantial, yes, or essential, but yeah.
And whatsoever of the and whatsoever is of the philanthropy, love for men, um, and whatsoever mystery is of the essential, is of the love for men. Ah. um,
Start with the nominal construction. So, and however many hosa, it agrees with mysteria,
mhm,
and how ever many um, substantial, well, mysteries or sacraments, whatever,
mhm.
are
Are of the love for man according to Alftin,
yes,
according to
aftin, yes. So, what does aftin refer to?
according to the Hyparxis.
Yes, to
Yeah.
it, namely that existence, right?
Mm.
But now let's think what unchanging or unchanged analiotos means in this context, or might mean.
Hmm.
Uh, Did it occur to the question when you were? I'm assuming you were reading a little bit before the class.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's such a challenge to understand what is being said that sometimes the meaning of the
Uh,
words is
I
escapes.
mean,
But
the grammar. Okay,
yeah.
so I think it's. I had this question myself, so I looked. I can't find it quickly, but in the scholar, apparently the scholars Jonas Kythopoulos thought about it as well,
Mm.
and uh, well, uh, can you guess what he guessed? No. Well, in what is well, if you know a little bit of the history of doctrine, there was some debates what happened uh, 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 what was peculiar about incarnation, God's incarnation in Jesus. So basically, Orthodox and Roman Catholic, which is the same for these purposes, is the doctrine is that the divinity has not changed. The divinity, yes. So that's why the scholiast. It's a shame I can't find.
I thought I saw analiotos in the page that you were just reading.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, in the page above, 170 at the top. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes. You see, physi pin analioton os theou kathemas hyperxin. So he just edited. He like the best way of commenting is editing the text commented upon, right? So he just inserted os theou. So he unchanged as God. He helped the author to articulate. All right. So yes, and that makes perfect sense. Although it's a bit strange. Our author didn't write this out if he thought this way. So I'm still am open to the possibility that he might have meant something different, but for lack of better interpretation, we can stick to this one. All right. Any questions about this? All right. So let's continue.
Chrideos ime malon analavuntas imastum pantelitis. I just have to move the icon here. Tis dias enoseos tecai diacrisios ecteste tropon opos animin evsinoptos opas en genite logos tomen picilon apan que asapis apane nomenos ev diacritos de que saphos que eftactos ta ikia kata dynamin horotheton. Okay, so as I consider, or as I believe, it is, but as I consider, it is necessary that we take up the tropon, the direction.
Well, the way, the mode.
Okay. The mode, yeah, the way of so panteli, that is
yeah, that modifies
so
modifies.
it's adverbial.
Well, not I don't think so, because it's masculine. I think
Yeah.
well it can be adverbial. Actually, it can be yes, but I think it's more simply to take it as a masculine accusative with tropon.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I didn't catch that. So it is necessary that we take up the complete way of both the divine unity and distinction.
Malon,
Yeah.
right? Rather. Okay, okay, Malon. You just, I don't think you just translated, but it just.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
So it is necessary that we take up rather the that we undertake to set out.
Analavondas, yeah, that's it can mean resume, but in this case, maybe recapitulate or something like that. If I'm not sure what. Recap, right, yes, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
in a way, in American way, or maybe
exactly.
Canadian too.
Yeah, maybe. So it is necessary that we take up again to lay out the complete way of the divine unit of both the divine unity and distinction, hopos, in such a way that
In order that here it's purpose
oh,
clause.
okay, in order that the argument might be for us, eusynoptos is like clear or synthetic.
Well, observable, easily observable, pass logos. So observable as a whole, right? Easy to
Okay,
observe.
so that the argument as a whole might be easily observable to us.
Mm-hmm.
To men so there's mende coming up. So
Yeah.
on the so that varied all the varied and unwise
No, not so fast, but so fast. So fast, unclear.
oh right, yeah, okay, so that the varied so that what is varied and unclear is taken away or is rejected.
Well, yes, you get the meaning, but let's also get the form, not to be
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
well, you see, apenomenos,
is masculine, right? So that
right. So
arguments, so it would be the argument that is
yes, the logos. So the logos would be, now it's qualified by this actually two participles, epenomenos y orotheton, right? It's both mm, uh, uh, both are masculine, nominative, so they qualify the logos.
mhm. Okay, so that the logos so that the argument might reject or yeah it might so that argument might be rejected, that is
Well, you take it's a deponent verb, actually. It's apenoneme. So the root is the same as anos, meaning praise. So there is how it's called, an, which is negates, and apo, second prefix, which is intensified, which utterly unpraises, well, literally, but basically discards, one may say, for whatever. So, well, actually, we can look translation. It's disown, reject, right? So
okay, so that the argument might utterly reject that which is
no, well, so let's try to be more kind of follow the structure. So in order that the we have it mean it's dative, it's so-called dative of possession, that we have our whole argument, or we can transcribe it, make it dative in a possessive pronoun, that our whole argument might become easily observable, uh, right? Uh, and, and then goes rejecting ta 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 ta. It's the object of says what it rejects. To
Mhm.
uh, uh, and then orotheton that. So man that. So on the one hand, it our argument be easily observable, rejecting ta 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 on the one hand, or the other hand, orotheton ta ta ta.
Right. So rejecting, so that our argument might be easy, so that our whole argument might become easy to see or easy to understand,
To grasp,
to
to see,
grasp.
to grasp from synoptics, who wrote the gospel, they looked at from different perspectives. Well, according to where they're called synoptics, they look easily to be looked from all sides, easily. Right. So, but then we need to add this construction, which
Right. So rejecting the varied, rejecting to men all the varied and all the unclear,
everything you can say,
everything
yes,
varied,
everything. Uh,
everything varied and unclear.
Varied, right? That's one meaning. But in this context, maybe why would everything varied be unwelcome? Maybe Picilon, what other meanings?
Can mean
Manifold, complex. Well, that's also not very.
changing.
Let's see. Changeful, diversified. Well, unstable, maybe, but I thought it had meaning of something uh, uh, varied, ambiguous, like.
Mm.
But I'm not seeing this meaning for some reason. I thought there is such a meaning, but I'm not finding it. Maybe, maybe I dreamt it out. So,
Like that which admits of many interpretations or several.
yeah, yes.
Okay.
That's probably the point. Yes, because otherwise, it's not clear why would be it's not desirable to have yes, which is admits of various interpretations. Yes,
Mm.
I think that's and uh, and asafes, right?
Unclear. Or yeah.
Yes. So there's two different characteristics. Okay, and then go into that clause.
And then oroteton, I mean, the LSJ only gives fixed boundaries, meaning to kind of distinguish properly.
Defining,
Finding.
defining. By the way, I've looked up a synoptos easily taken in at a glance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So easily taken in at a glance, etc.
Uh,
And and defining um, clearly and plainly, or sephos would be like, yeah, clearly, distinctly, and orderly. So, and defining in a manner clear, distinct, and orderly, ta ikia, the familiar things according to our power. According to
right. Ta IKEA here, familiar, think of a better, because why would, if we defining only familiar things would, it wouldn't be very informative, right?
the fitting things or the proper things.
Proper, exactly. What
Okay.
belong, what's called adrem, right?
Hmm.
Adrem.
Yeah.
So you can see that staphos is opposite to asaphes, and what else is here? F Diakritos is we might take it that it's opposite to pikilon. So I think in this context, it prompts us this F diakritos if we assume that it's opposite to pikilon. So pikilon is to be taken in the sense of variety, which is it's called metli, or in English, or motl.
Yeah.
Yeah, this kind of mixture of meanings or something like that, not well distinguished. And then Eftactos doesn't have anything corresponding in the first part, but I looked up, I was wondering, so Aquinas gives a gloss on Eftactos. He understands that in a good order, meaning that what is most manifest should be stated first, and that which is known through it should be mentioned after it. So in the order of how it would be learnable, right?
Pedagogically speaking.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, well, I can move on to the next sentence then. Calusigar operque neteris effin, itis catimas theologicis paradoseos iromiste tasmen enosis tas dias tas tis hyperaritu que hyperagnostu monimotitos cripias que anacfititus hyperidrisis tas de diacrisis tas agatoprepis tis diarchias proodus de que ekphansis.
Now, before we begin, I think let's think of this. Why he says har? Har, well, most, and there are other uses of har, but in this case, well, at any rate, what is har is explained for. Huh? So what does he want to explain here? Any possible candidates? Well,
the completeness of the divine unity and difference. I mean, that's
what needs explanation in what he said before? Any thoughts? All right. Doesn't it seem strange? He talked a lot already about unity and united names and distinguished names. And then he says, we need to take it all NU. Marlon, we better begin now. NU. It actually doesn't mean recap. Analavontes mean, well, we can look it up. It means, well, I agreed with recap, but what would be here? It Alambana. Regain, recover, restore, repair. Well, it also take up again. Actually, that's the meaning here. I think that's the most sensible.
Like returning to something that he already mentioned.
Right. He basically, we need to tell the whole story again,
right.
and he needs now to justify this. And before that, he was spoken like platitudes. Well, if we call things their own names, it's just well. Now he speaks something different. Like take this sentence, "Kalusigar." That's pretty. I would say can find a good word in English for that. But let's translate it. What he says.
Okay, so for they say, as I was saying, um, in other places.
Also in other places.
Oh, okay, right. Okay,
Mm.
as I was also saying in other places. So the Iromiste were saying, namely, so Iromiste. I don't know this the initiates, the
Sacred, sacred adepts, sacred initiates.
sacred initiates.
And then, and now it's clear that these initiates, they are the subject of Calusi. So not
Mhm,
they call, but, well, you have to say that probably in English, we need to put it first, this
right.
Hieromistum.
Right. So as I was also saying in other places, the sacred initiates um, of the theological tradition of our theological tradition
Mhm.
call the so men call on the one hand the divine unities.
Or unions, maybe union is
Right.
better.
Yeah, because it's not.
Yes, yeah, kind of it's a noun, but it has a verbal dynamic meaning.
So called the divine unions, the hidden, the hidden things of the ineffable and unknowable, monimotitos, of the ineffable and unknowable changelessness or steadfastness,
Hmm.
and anekphititus is the not unproceeding, um, and the unproceeding super idrio is super. It's not seated. It's super foundations.
Yeah, super. No, not outgoing, right?
So the
Uh,
not emanating, unemanating.
yeah, roughly speaking, but outgoing, I think, would be better. Not
Okay.
outgo.
Or out, yeah, outflowing super foundations.
But this whole thing also of this uh, hyperaritu ke hyperagnostu monimot. Mm, uh, this genitive tis hyperaritu ke hyperagnostu monimotitus uh, characterizes both Criphias and
Okay, Anacletus. Okay.
yes, Hyperadrisis. But there's another way to take it. I'm actually glad you take Criphias as a noun, which I also
Hmm.
like. But it's rare as a noun, and LSJ mentioned, but LSJ mentions sixth century of Christian era source, which is good. But most interpreters take it as an adjective coordinate with anekphititus. So then it would be Griphiesque anekphititus hyperedrisis. So hidden and not outflowing super, how do you translate super?
Super foundations.
Yes, yes. So other way is good. So again, it's Griphies either coordinate adjective with that or then noun. Okay.
So they call the onenesses, the of the ineffable and unknowable, unchangingness, the hidden and unoutflowing super foundation on the one hand,
Mhm.
and on the other call the distinctions and the distinctions. It is that's I don't know what it is. Called the distinctions. Proodus is what is that
Well,
word?
pro-odus is emanation, so it's better to reserve pro-odus pro for emanation, and ekphans. How do you translate ekphansis?
Ekphansis manifestations.
Yes, manifestations. Very good.
Okay, so they call the distinctions the good serving or appropriate to the good emanations and manifestations of the Godhead.
Right. So you may you probably notice that that's completely very radical switching of gears here, which is why he needed to all this dancing around to say that well Hieronymus says this, and I have already said this in other places, so don't think it's anything new. Well, it's well for within the Christian tradition, it's quite new because recall before he was speaking of distinctions as very standard kind of it's distinction of hypostasis of persons. Now he talks the language of Platonism or so-called Neoplatonism, although it's misnomer. The word was coined in 18th century only, but anyway. But so there is three in any entity exists in Platonism is it abides, so it has more me than it emanates, which is called prodos. And it returns, which is called epistrophe. So epistrophe is not mentioned, but now exactly how in the framework of Platonism, so there is the unity abiding is has all distinctions only implicit, but then that's the one, and it manifests itself as many by going out of itself. That's this dynamic existence of every level of reality in Platonism. And so he employs it here. So here, this diakrisis would be the goings out of divinity, out of its hiddenness, and which is regardless of this, it's much more than three. It's well, all the plurality which we have of gifts is explained in this way.
Mm.
Okay. All right. So continue.
Que facitis iris logis epomeni que tis irimenis enoseos idia que autistis diacrisios ine tinas idicas que enosis que diacrisis. This was fairly difficult. And they say, following upon the inspired scriptures, the holy oracles, okay, manis.
We see here, Lila, I'm not quite happy with what Lila did. He inserted Tina and he put a semicolon here. I think Lila's version is better here. Well, Tina, of course, he supplied it himself as he often does, but sometimes it's helpful. But in this case, I don't think it's really helpful. I think let's read it without the semicolon, and so then the would be ina would be the verb in indirect discourse with fasi, right? They say that there are.
Right. Okay. So they say that there are proper things
Yes.
of the Hieronymus here. Would it be like the so-called or?
Oh no, aforesaid, said before, mentioned, or
Okay,
those we spoke. Yes,
of the aforementioned unity, and
oh, right, unity, singular. Sorry.
and again of the distinction. Tinas, some things being proper to the unions and some to the distinctions.
Well, I think, and in turn, office in turn. It's I think even before would have been better to translate. In turn, there are, so inner goes to both. So easier are peculiarities, I would say, of the aforesaid union, and the ivikas proper here. Proper here, it's an adjective. Proper both unions and distinctions of the distinction. So yes, it's complex logically. In other words, there is some there are some peculiarities. Well, I think what
Proper
is it?
to the aforementioned union.
Yes,
Other peculiarities which have peculiar unions and distinctions which are proper to the distinction.
right. So on the one hand, the unity, well, before he was spoken of unities in the plural or unions, here he speaks of union, probably of every union he, well, I think we may assume that of every union mentioned above, one can say that within it, there are some distinctions easier, some plural, some peculiar, some plurality, so which is kind of surprising. We thought it's unity is unity, right? Union, but there is, so at first there was a rough, very crude or robust division. There's unions, the name said unitedly, and then there are discriminations. Names said separately, so to speak, discreetly. But now he says, well, those who said unitedly, within them, within this union, there are some differences, and on the other hand, in those uh, distinctions and differences, they're not only, she says, doesn't say not only, but uh, that's, I think, the point. Not only peculiarities, which is, of course, goes without saying, that's what makes them distinct or different, but also unions, right? They are proper unions and distinctions. So, so yes, that's a
So
bit.
I had a question about the grammar. Why are the final words all in accusative?
Uh,
Because it's like a copula, right? Like,
yes, that the indirect discourse has
oh right, they say that it is X
yes,
and where
that
the
there
X
are.
is in
No,
accusative.
yes, I think in here should be taken existentially. In the infinitive, you cannot tell. One cannot tell because the accent doesn't show whether it's existential or whether it's the copula. But I think because because of the context, I think we need to take this in as vera, as existential. Yes.
Okay.
So vera, and then that's the subject, so to speak. So there are some peculiarities of the aforementioned union, and in turn, uh, some proper unions and distinctions of that distinction, right? So yeah, that's why. So does it answer your question?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay. Ion epitis enoseos tis dias iti tis hyperusiotitos inomenon men esti ti anarchici triadi que kinon hyperusios hyparxis hyperteos theot. Okay, then it goes on for a long time. So perhaps I'll just go up to hyparxis because then it's just a list.
Okay. Yes.
If that's all right, yeah. Um, so epi with genitive is regarding.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so regarding the union of the divine, they itoi is it's a not a preposition. It's a pronoun, right?
No, because there's a soft breathing, so et, so or it's a version of or in other words that's being
Oh, okay.
explicative, right? So um, et, what a good translation to it. Yeah, it's basically it's et. Uh, uh, so um, yes, it's basically explanatory. Uh, so, which means that so how would you translate it then?
Okay, so with regard to the oneness of the divinity, um, that is of the hyperousiotitos, the supersubstantial.
Super supersubstantiality. It's abstract noun.
Right.
Supersiotis. Yeah, you see, it's is e plus T or toy, right? Toy is something like right? But it's idiomatic, so it's combined. Okay, just to explain the form of this.
So would you translate it like just as saying, or rather?
Uh, yeah, or namely, or you may call it something, or you may call it something.
Right. Okay. So I'll clarify what divinity means by calling it supersubstantiality. That will
Yeah.
make things more easy to grasp. Okay.
Yeah.
So, regarding the oneness of the divinity, or rather, namely the supersubstantiality, it is, so that's a genitive absolute construction. No, that's not. Um, Hinomenon is the united. It is It is united, the united substance,
Uh,
the
you might say inomenon is pre predicative. So, but he begins with it, which what is united on the
right.
one hand is.
Okay.
So it's a little bit, so in English, I just don't know how another way to render this as a predicate.
Mm. So the oneness of the divine, or rather of the supersubstantiality, is one with, or is united with the hierarchy, the the mm, uh, what is that? Hierarchy is like the
It's the anarchy is having the quality to be the principle of unity. Let's see if there are, well, that's what it means. But let's see if there are better translation. Um, uh, anarchikos lampe, being the principle of unity, and this das Prinzip, or the source of unity, being the source of the principle of unity. So, but how to form a good English adjective of this? Because so that
the
is the adjective.
uniting,
The
uniting is not the same.
uh, uh, so first of all, we need to make sense of this dative. I think we're out of time a bit. Let's maybe postpone this, but uh, we need need to think why it's dative. But and also we may that's not easy to translate. How the meaning is this. Uh, Being the principle of unity, uh, uh, so the triad, uh, which, uh, well, okay, let's think about it in the meanwhile. So we how to translate it. It's not easy. So well, all right. So let's let's stop for now and see you next time.
See you
Okay.
next week.
Yeah. Thanks.